Welcome back guys. Here we will start with the methods of HashSet and we will see that what are the methods we have in the HashSet. So guys, my small request is whenever you are watching my video, please make sure that the topic which you are going to watch, please take a printout of my notes, the PDF which I have given in my Git locations where you have all the source code. Okay, so please take a printout and then only watch my video. Please make a notes on the PDF because all the material you have in the PDF. So when you are watching, please keep on writing some notes on the PDF so that you can study offline, right? So we'll see that what are the methods we have in the HashMap. So as I was talking in my last video, how to create the object of HashSet and what are the constructors you have in the HashSet and how you can create the object of HashSet. So here I have created one object of HashSet if you look at, and then there is a method called add method. So by now you are familiar with this method, add method, which will help you to add the data to the HashSet, right? So you can add the data to the HashSet, right? After adding the data to the HashSet, and when you have not added any custom object to the HashSet, so when I say custom object means the object which you have created, like person object, employee object, department object, which we have seen that earlier. So when you don't have those kind of data, when you have either primitive type or a string data, so what you can do, you can in system out println, if you will just print the set, if you print this object, by default two string methods are overridden in this collections classes. So what will happen, your data will get printed and you can see that this is your actual data. So just focus on first output. Okay, this is your actual data. Let me increase the console size. So you can focus here. This is the output. Your output is test 1, test 5, test 4, test 3 and then test 2. So here you can see that two things. One is your data uniqueness. You can see that the test 1 was inserted 2 times, okay, but only test 1 you are seeing that. So duplicate data is getting removed. Test 2, after test 1 test 2 was added, but if you look at the output, test 5 is coming. Then test 3 was added, but print mein test 4 is coming, there test 3 and test 2 is coming. So two things here we can see that one is duplicate data got removed, first thing. Second thing is it is not maintaining the insertion order. Two things, one is duplicate data is getting removed and it is not maintaining the insertion order in case of HashSet. Because why it is not maintaining? Because internally HashSet uses HashMap and HashMap will not maintain the insertions order. Now how this duplicate will get removed and all that, which we will see that. Okay, so till here you understood, like this is the add method through which you can add the data to the HashSet. Then let's say you want to fetch the data, of the HashSet. So here in the list classes you had get method. Here you don't have get method on the HashSet class. So in HashSet there is nothing called get method. So let's say if you do .get, there is nothing called get of index, no. But this was there in the array list and the linked list, but in the set you don't have get method. There is no method get method in the HashSet. So there are multiple ways you can print the data of the HashSet or you can get the data of the HashSet. The one way which I like is you can use iterator. So on this collections class you can call this method iterator, because when you go in the HashSet, press Ctrl, click on HashSet, when you do here Ctrl O, you have, and just do Ctrl O and just write IT. So see, there is a method called iterator. So in this class also you will have iterator method. When you click on iterator, iterator will give you list of iterator object. So what is E? The E is nothing but the type of object which you have stored, the type of object which you have stored, right? So this will give you the iterator. So you can come back here. When you call this iterator, this guy will give you iterator of a string. Okay, just remove the local variable, hover on this and click on create local variable. Automatic compiler will do on behalf of you. It is nothing but iterator object, and you know that iterator has method called hashNext and next method. hashNext and next method. So if you look at here, what I am trying to do here is I am calling it.hashNext. So basically this hashNext will check whether your set has data or not. If it has a data, then you are calling that on the same reference, on this iterator reference, you are calling that the next. So this next, what it will do, it will return the current object. So basically it will return the test1 and your pointer will move to test2. Just for your understanding I am saying that, okay, that's how it is. It will return test1 and pointer will move to test2. Now you know that when we add the data to HashSet, basically we add the object, right? So though here it is looking like a primitive data type, but anyways this is a string. So here a string is always treated as an object. But let's say if this was not a string, if this was integer, even in case of integer, how the value will get added? In the add method, it will call integer dot value of. So integer dot value of will give the integer object, okay, for the primitive data type. It will change to the corresponding integer object, right? So since it is the object, you can call a hashcode method. Intentionally I am printing here hashcode, okay, intentionally I am printing here hashcode just to show you what are the hashcode. So if you look at here, this 5 data got inserted and every data has a hashcode. Every object has a hashcode, because from where, from on any object basically you can call hashcode method on any object. But here what happens when you add the data in the HashSet, and again click on control, click on HashSet, this guy makes an object of HashMap. So click on control, click on HashMap. Now go in the HashMap class and do control O and then write here HASH hash, HAS hash. So you can look at here, there is something called, you can see it here, hashcode. You can see one hashcode is there inside the node. There is a method called hashcode. So in the HashMap class, okay, in the HashMap class, hashcode is overwritten. Or do one thing, just go here, control O, just write hash. There is something called hash also. See here, hash. So click on this hash, right? So you can see that in this your HashMap class, there is a method which will generate the hash, and internally this hash will call hashcode. So basically this method is already overridden in your HashMap class. It is overridden in your HashMap class. But if you go to other class like ArrayList and all that, this method is not overridden. So instead of that, instead of HashSet, just I will show you quickly. If I write here list control spacebar list, and if I write here list and write here array list, okay, and import the array list. We have to import, right? So go to the array list, press control, click on array list, go here, commando, and just write HA. See, I just wrote HA. There is no hash method here, okay. This guy will not override. So your array list and linked list will not override the hashcode method, okay, whereas your HashMap will do that. Internally it has a method called hash. The hash will call a hashcode method. So you can see that here there is no hashing concept, but in the HashMap there is a method called hash that will do hashing, but here there is no hashing concept, okay. In list classes there is no hashing concept. Why I am saying all this? I am giving a background so that when I will talk about how when we store the data in the HashSet, how this hash code will play important role, you will understand. But in your list classes there is nothing called hashing, okay. Come back. So now you understood for every object there is a hashcode, right? For every object there is a hashcode. Now we have to understand how come this guy was removed. How come this guy was removed? So basically what happens, if I have to expand this example, same example, I wrote an important method here and try to understand line by line. So I just designed one method, public static void no insertion. I'm written for you. Here same thing I'm doing, that I'm creating the object of HashSet. Then first time I have added this data in the set class. Okay, I have added test1. I have added the test1 first time. Then I'm running a for each loop. So either I can run iterator or I can run a for each loop. Both will work for me. So I'm just running a for each loop, and by now you should be very good knowledge of the for each loop. I will not repeat here. So when I'm running a for each loop against this set of data, so one by one, what is the type of this data? A string type. So I'm creating one variable of type string. So one by one, from the set of data, the value will get assigned to the string. And for this data, which is nothing but object, because when we store the data in the hash set, we store object, I'm just printing the hash code, and then I'm printing the index. So basically, you know that when you create the object of hash set, basically one bucket of size 16, of default size of 16 will get created. One bucket will get created, and bucket will have the index. So basically, when you actually create the object of hash set, this bucket like this will get created, and this bucket will get created 0 to 15, and it has a size of 16. So one bucket will get created. Now when we have to add the data, we are adding the data into the bucket. And you know that when you have a map, okay, this is actually map. Internally it uses map hash set. When you have a bucket of size 0 to 15, technically, okay, and when you have the object which has very big hash code, which has, let's say, hash code is equal to some very big numbers, which we were seeing that, right? Let me show you. When you have this many big number, these are the big number of the hash code, right? Your data should fit between 0 to 15. So how do you do that? Whenever you do modulus by 15, okay, always you will get an index between 0 to 15. You can try through calculator. So that's how you should do. Whenever somebody will give you the requirement, like, okay, you have a bucket of size 20, please enter all the data between 0 to 20. So what you have to do, you know the index, or what data should go. Always do a modulus. When you do a modulus, you will always get the data between 0 to 15. Okay, so that is the reason I am doing the modulus here. So when I did the modulus here, okay, now first let me uncomment this and let me comment this. I don't want to run this time. I want to call this method from this main method. I need to call no insertions, because this is my method. I need to be called. I'm calling intentionally so that I can show you. So what happens basically, if you look at add first time test1, when first time we have added test1, this is the hash code, okay, this big hash code, and index was 0. This is the big hash code and index was 0. So on this index 0, this hash code will get added, right? So if you come back to the nodes, on this 0, this big hash code will get added. What is this big hash code? It is ending with 8815, and what is the record? Test1. So when you come to the PDF, what happened? Ending with 8815 got on this bucket, one node got created. Okay, so basically node will be like this. This is the node. Okay, node, what you will have? Node has the address of the node. Node also will have the data, and node will have next pointer. So three things your node has, and this everything we call it as a node. Okay, so same thing, this is the address, this is the data, and as of now this guy is pointing to null. Okay, this guy is pointing to null, and this address is held by index 0. Okay, now this is first time data got entered in the hash set. Now when again we are adding the test1 again. So again when we are adding the test1, basically what will happen now again? When you call the add method again, first it will generate the hash code. So when you press control and click on add method, and internally it calls map.put. So click on control, click on put method. See the first line, it will always generate the hash of the key. So for that particular key it will generate the hash. So the hash is nothing but your hash code. Okay, it will generate the hash. Okay, when it will generate the hash, what will happen? Since the data is object is same, okay, and you know that in the string when the object is same, your hash code will be same. So again when you try to do second time this test one, okay, so basically what will happen is you'll get the same hash code and your index will be 0. So again on 0 the same hash code, okay, hash code is same. When the hash code is same, so as I was talking yesterday, whenever two object has the same hash code, so how it will work is, when again you will go to the add method, click on add and press control, click on put method, again go, it will generate the hash code, go to the put value method, click on control, click on put value, so your control will come here. So whenever the hash code is same, whenever the hash is same, hash code is same, then it will check for the object. It will check for the object if the object is also same. So this time the object is also same because same string, right? And you know that when you have two same string, the object will be same. So what will happen, your old data will get replaced by the new data. Okay, same thing will happen here. So again in example 1, basically when you get the same hash code and index is equal to 0, so when you come to the PDF, it will check first for the hash code. So hash code is the same, object is also same, so your data will get replaced. Data will get replaced here. Okay, though since it is the same data, you are not able to see that, but your data is getting replaced. Okay, so your bucket, the bucket which has a 0 index has a one node which has this data test1. This is the node is, this is nothing but linked list. Internally map uses bucket and node. Okay, linked list. Now come back, we will go so these two we understood like how duplicate got removed, because it checked for the hash code, it checked for the object, both was same, it will overwrite. So the duplicacy is removed by checking the hash code and equals method. Okay, the object, it compared the object, it compared the hash code, both was same, data got overwritten. For test 2 now what will happen, go fast little bit. For this test 2 nothing will happen, because this intentionally I have written 2 times for loop because it was the same data. Here the data is different, here the data is different. I am just running the iterator and I am printing the hash code and I am printing the index, right, because this data is different. So on this data again I am going to run the iterator and I am storing this i.next. So basically this i.next will give you the object, and object is of type what? This HashSet is the object of type string, and on this n string I am calling hash code and I am calling the index, because I need to fit between 0 to 15, so I have to do the modulus of 15. Okay, so look at here output, I think you can see that this is the entire data. For test 1, okay, this was the index. For test 5 index was 4, for test 4 index was 3, for test 3 index was 2, and for test 2 index was 1. So for every index there will be one bucket, and for 0 index there was 2 data but it got overridden because it was the same hash code and object was same, this test 1, right. For another bucket will have the data. So if you again go through the diagram, on index you focus on index 1 and 2, so there should be test 2 and test 3. So on 1 it is test 2 and on 2 it is test 3. So look at here, on 1, on this 1 index you will have test 2, on 2 you have test 3, on index 4 what data you have? Index 4 you will have test 5 and 3 you will have 4. Okay, so 4 you will have test 4 and in this index 4 you will have a 5 and index 3 you will have this 4, right. So all the node here it will be pointing to null because there is no other node apart from one node. So all will be pointing to null. right? So clear how HashMap works internally. Like first it will generate the hash code, then it will generate the index, it will do a modulus by 15, and then it will come here on this bucket, it will check. So first time what happened, test1 came, one node got added. So node has the address of the node, which is nothing but this, data of the node and the next pointer. When again the second time test1 came on the 0 index, the test1 hash code was same, which I have shown you. There was a same hash code, it compared the hash code. Once the hash code is same, then it will call the it will compare the object. The object was also same, so data got overridden, but other data was unique data. So that's how the data got inserted, and that's how the internally HashSet uses this storage to store the data, right? So again I repeat this intentionally, though I have covered in my hashing concept and the HashMap implementations, but again I repeat it so that you will have remember all the concept. Thank you guys, thank you for watching this.